Chicago Cubs baseball on ABC7.
From Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia, we're set for Cubs baseball here on ABC7. We had an afternoon shower earlier. Should be clear sailing the rest of the night. Cubs and the Braves, Game 2 of a weekend series. Great to have you with us alongside Jim DeShays. I'm Len Casper. 4-2 Braves, the final to kick off the second half last night. We're going to check in on the highlights, starting with the good news, and that is Kyle Schwarber had a very nice return to the big leagues.
Yeah, all this kid does is hit. He's got about a year's worth of a plate appearance as a minor leaguer last year in this. He has hit .333 as a minor leaguer. He's shown a very good discipline at the plate. 3-hit game last night. He did that damage when he was up earlier, serving as the DH. Hit the ball hard all night long last night. Struggled a little bit behind the plate, had a throwing error, was also charged with the catcher's interference. But this is a team that clearly needs to find some offense, and maybe Schwarber can be part of the solution.
Yep, first 7 major league games, he's 11 out of 26. Jorge Soler with a go-ahead 2-run single in the 3rd inning. That made it 2-1 Cubs. Base running blunder, however, ended that inning prematurely.
Yeah, I alluded to the errors by Schwarber and then the base running mistake here by Soler. And when you're not scoring runs, you've got to play tight. You've got to play clean defensively. You can't make mistakes on the bases. Those things tend to come back and bite you.
Now bottom of the 8th, Eury Perez, a left fielder for the Braves, with an opposite field 2-run single. That broke the 2-2 tie, 4-2 Atlanta. And the Cubs just couldn't get anything done against the Braves bullpen, which was very good last night. And let's check out the updated wild card standings, brought to you by the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group. The Mets and the Giants just a game back of the Cubs. Mets will be in St. Louis again tonight. Giants will be at Arizona. And the Braves right now 5 games back. And this is kind of an important stretch for them, JD, as they try to figure out if they're going to sit tight or be sellers.
Yeah, well, they've did a lot of work in the offseason. They brought in a lot of young pitching here. My sense is they're going to be sellers regardless of how well they play between now and the trade deadline.
When we come back, we'll talk about an interesting pitching matchup. It's Southpaw night here in Atlanta as we get you set for Cubs baseball on ABC7. ABC7 is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. By DeVry University, different on purpose. By American Family Insurance, insure carefully, dream fearlessly. By Dodge, born Dodge. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Cubs 14-7 against the National League East, but that includes 7-0 against the Mets as they try to stamp an 8-game skid in this ballpark. So Cubs and Braves tonight. John Lester has not won in a career-long 10 starts, but mainly that's because his teammates are not pitching in offensively.
Oh, my goodness, yeah, run support has been a big issue for John Lester. The club has scored a total of 12 runs in his last 9 starts. They've been shut out 4 times during that stretch. He's doing his part, throwing the ball very well. You look at his numbers for July. He's made 3 starts, winless, but a 1.71 ERA.
And the other half of the Cadillac pitching matchup, an intriguing guy, 24-year-old Manny Banuelos, who had been in the Yankee organization for a while. The Braves got him in January, and he's been pretty good.
Yeah, Braves have loaded up on a lot of young pitching. Their entire rotation, 24 years of age or younger, and they have great expectations for the young lefty Banuelos.
And Kyle Schwarber will be available off the bench tonight as the veteran David Ross will catch for John Lester. We saw some really good defense in the ballgame last night, and with these low-scoring affairs, certainly very little margin for error. Lineups in the first pitch coming up next.
Chicago Cubs baseball on ABC7.
Back here in Atlanta, and this high-definition broadcast is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. So you see the giveaway tonight, that old-school Braves cap. Atlanta a 4-2 winner last night. Let's get the Mercedes-Benz keys to the game.
Yeah, John Lester, he's left-handed. That should prove to be an advantage because the Braves have been woeful against left-handed pitching. They have a 641 on-base plus slugging against lefties. That's 29th of the 30 major league clubs. So don't sweat the lack of run support if you're John Lester. You got to go out there and not worry about what has transpired in the past. New outlook. Just go out and continue to do what you've been doing, and hopefully the results will be there.
Let's check in on the Cubs Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo at the top. Jorge Soler is going to be in the cleanup spot tonight. Chris Denorfia is in left. Starlin Castro, the shortstop. Former Brave David Ross was activated off the concussion deal just before the break. This is his first action, though, since July 1st. Lester, the pitcher, batting 8th, and Addison Russell, the rookie second baseman, hitting 9th.
Let's check in with the Braves defensively. It's brought to you by Nissan. A little different look tonight as Johnny Gomes gets a start in left. He's joined by Maben and the Gold Glover Markakis in the outfield. Simmons just stellar at shortstop. He's won Gold Gloves the last 2 seasons. Uribe Peterson and Chris Johnson, who has become a platoon first baseman. He's lost his third base spot to Uribe. He's over there at first tonight. And Przinsky behind the plate for Manny Banuelos. 2 starts plus a relief appearance, and the numbers so far are good. 1-0 with an .075. He was 6-2 with a .229 earned run average at AAA Gwinnett.
And the weather at the first pitch, brought to you by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. For all the right reasons, call 866. Four Seasons, hot and humid. But it's not raining, and that's good. And we should be okay. We got a shower that interrupted batting practice a few hours ago, but we're in good shape now as we get started. 1 ball, no strikes on Dexter Fowler. Cornermen are in on the infield. That ball hit in the air out into deep right. Nick Markakis will put it away. Toby Basner calling balls and strikes tonight. He's behind the plate. Tim Timmons, Todd Titchener, and Dan Iasonia on the bases.
Banuelos, 4-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup is a real good pitch for him. In his 2 starts this year, he has worked in the upper 80s, low 90s with that fastball. A couple years removed from Tommy John surgery.
Chris Bryant sends one high in the air. This will make the seats down the left field line. Cub fan with a nice grab, brought his glove to the game, and it pays off early. See the Braves wearing their alternate home uniforms, that off-white cream color. And he went. Tim Timmons made the call at first, 0-2. It would be fair to say Chris has had an itchy trigger finger kind of in this series. He's swung at some bad pitches.
Yeah, I think he's starting to press a little bit, maybe getting a little anxious, getting out of his game just a little bit. Last night it was the Julio Teheran slider, a power slider from the righty Teheran. It was really giving him fits.
That was a changeup. Still 1-2. John Maley, the hitting coach, looks on as this offense tries to give John Lester's some run support. He just hasn't had much, as we mentioned in the open here, these last 10 starts. Another 1-2 to Bryant. Out into shallow center. Cameron Maybin coming on, and he's got it.
Get your ticket now through the Cubs special events page and show your support of the Chicagoland Law Enforcement Night, which is Wednesday, August 12th. The Brewers are in town. Tickets will be in Terrace Reserve outfield and include a special Cubs law enforcement baseball cap. For more details, visit Cubs.com/special events.
Anthony Rizzo 0 for 3 with a walk from the cleanup spot last night, hitting third tonight. Leads the National League with a .474 on base average against left-handed pitchers. Ball 1. Looked like it was up and a little in to make it 2-0. Yeah, Banuelos, if you add up his innings, AAA in the majors, he's at 94 2/3. That was going into this start. Last year, 76 2/3 total, coming back from elbow reconstruction. Braves do not have a tried and true formula. They really look at their young pitchers individually in terms of how many innings they can add year to year. But you'd have to think they're going to limit him at some point, as Rizzo went around 2-2.
Yeah, they're in this kind of rebuilding mode here. I guess there's a chance they find themselves in a bit of a race late in the season with an eye towards a wild card spot. I don't think that's going to happen. I guess that would be the outlier. But otherwise, yeah, why not shut some of these kids down early, save some bullets for the future.
Full count. Soler is on deck. Just underway here in Atlanta. And there's the first base runner. A 2-out walk to Anthony Rizzo.
And that's the challenge for a pitcher against Rizzo, the lefty. When Anthony's right on top of the plate like that, if you're trying to stay away from him, you're off the plate. And usually Anthony's able to lay off that pitch. That's why he works so many walks.
Soler knocked in the Cubs 2 runs last night with a third inning single. He did not, however, put on a good base running display. His manager talked to him about it today. Man, with the margin for error so small right now, those types of plays end up looming large. Had he not tried to get to second, it would have been first and third, 2 outs. Had he gotten caught in a rundown, just stopped halfway between first and second, he would have at least given Anthony Rizzo a fighting chance to score. And in the end, he just kind of gave himself up.
Yeah. It's just kind of a lack of awareness of what's going on around you. There was nobody on first base because the first baseman had moved into a cutoff position. So even if he had made the initial error of taking too big of a turn, he still had plenty of time to scramble back to first. A teaching moment for Joe Maddon and his staff.
No decision for Kyle Hendricks last night. 1 earned run in 5 2/3. Good block by Przinsky. And a good look at the back of the bat boy over in the Atlanta dugout. Kyle Schwarber chatting with Mike Borzello. Check on the runner. Banuelos, born in Durango, Mexico. And he signed with the Yankees back in 2008. Grew up rooting for the Yanks, in fact. And he threw pretty hard pre-Tommy John surgery. At this point, I think when people evaluate Banuelos, they talk more about his composure and his guts than they do his stuff. Not afraid. And that can get you places at this level, right?
Absolutely. And
swing and a miss.
Having a real good changeup. And that changeup not particularly well located, but plenty of deception there. And Soler way out in front.
And when he was 19 years old, Mariano Rivera said he was the best pitching prospect he'd ever seen. And again, he was throwing 96, 97 at the time. He really noticed that composure when he was in the Yankees chain. Up and in, 3-2. Looked to be a pretty routine 1-2-3 first inning. Has now ballooned on Banuelos. This will be his 19th pitch. As Rizzo takes off, swing and a miss. So he gets him with the change. His first strikeout tonight. Braves are coming up when we come back. Southwest Airlines, they snapped a 5-game skid last night. Peterson, Maben, Markakis at the top. Johnny Gomes and Chris Johnson get their first starts of the series. Przinsky, Uribe, Simmons, and the pitcher Banuelos. We'll set the Cubs defensively here in a second as their opening day starter, John Lester, will make his first start of the second half, facing the left-handed hitting Jace Peterson. And a called strike on a fastball.
There are the numbers on John. 4 up, 8 down. ERA of 3.59 as he makes his 19th start.
Peterson 1 for 3, doubled, walked, was picked off last night.
Recently, Lester has been solid. We showed you those numbers in July in the Open. Over his last 6 starts, he's got a .235 earned run average. He's only allowed 1 home run over the course of his last 7 starting assignments.
6'4", 240.
Ooh.
Close, didn't get it. 2-2. 31 years old. First year with the Cubs. Called strike 3. Got him on a cutter.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively. It's brought to you by Toyota. Denorfia, Fowler, Soler. Cover this big outfield here at the TED. Brian Castro, Russell Rizzo, third to first. David Ross back behind the plate for Lester. It was a month by month on John. Got off to that tough start, outstanding in May, scuffled a little bit in June, and he's been really good, as I said, over the last, I guess from mid-June on. Had a couple clunkers, but over the last 10 starts or so, really, really good.
Softly hit up the middle. It'll be picked up by Russell, and he gets the speedy Maben.
That was kind of funky. Ball had some weird spin on it. Castro playing a step towards the hole. Russell closer to second base, so he scrambles over there. Quick release, strong arm, gets Maben.
Addison has some friends and family here in the ballpark this weekend up from Pensacola. Now Nick Markakis. 2 outs, nobody on. Markakis with 73 previous at-bats against John Lester. A lot of Red Sox-Orioles matchups. No home runs and a .233 lifetime average as he bounces this one past Bryant and into left. Markakis is aboard with 2 outs.
Tough play for any third baseman. I think tougher still for a tall one like Chris Bryant. Working his way towards the line on the backhand side, just not able to stay down on that ball. It was going to be a tricky play. It looked kind of like trouble right off the bat.
And they give Markakis a single. And here comes Johnny Gomes. Gomes was a teammate of John Lester's not only in Boston, but they were traded together for Yoenis Cespedes on July 31st of last year to the Oakland A's. Some guys have those pre-pitch quirks and routines, and for Johnny Gomes, it's adjusting that batting helmet. What he likes to do is really press it against his forehead, kind of lift the skin above his eyes to really help his vision. I think that's how he once explained it. Watch this right here. Russell will step on second, and that will end the inning. Scoreless after 1. ABC 7 is being brought to you by Marvel's Ant-Man, now playing in theaters and IMAX 3D. Scoreless tie as Chris Denorfia will lead off the Cubs second. Nice crowd tonight, maybe not quite as big as last night, fireworks night for game 1. Over 42,000 in the ballpark. And a foul strike on Denorfia.
Did you know that Ant-Man was a superhero?
I do now. Yeah.
Because my first exposure to Ant-Man was an SNL skit years and years ago, a superhero party. And Ant-Man was there. I thought it was just a parody. I didn't know there really was an Ant-Man.
1-2. Chris 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter last night. And a line drive base hit to left.
Able to get on top of that high fastball. Looks like Banuelos likes to work upstairs with that elevated heater and then complement it with a changeup down. Don't know if you're quick enough to get on top of that and hit it on a line. Second base runner, first hit for the Cubs. Intrigued to see what Banuelos ultimately becomes because you mentioned the fact that he used to throw 97. Typically you lose a little bit and then you have surgery and it takes a while to come all the way back. This is a huge spread between if he really was a 97-mile-an-hour guy and what he is now.
Right, 97 to 90. As Castro swings at the first pitch and Maben in right center makes the grab.
Let's take a look at the Cubs blog on ABC7.com, brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, your local nationwide agent, serving the area for 37 years. To join the nation, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
Yeah, and a lot of Tommy John guys, not only do they regain most of their velocity, some guys regain all of it.
Yeah,
some more.
And some guys come back with actually a little bit more, and I think it's just because of the conditioning and training you do post-surgery. Guys a lot of times come back in the best pitching shape of their lives. That there was a theory out there for a while that if you have Tommy John surgery, you're automatically going to throw harder. I don't believe that. I think it's the work you do coming back, all the hard work you put in. Guys sometimes will pick up a little bit.
1 ball, no strikes on David Ross. Former Brave. He was Brian McCann's backup 2009 to 2012. Really enjoyed his time here. Loved playing for Bobby Cox. And the pitch. It's a strike. Put up some good numbers here. He said really when he came here is when he became a backup. Wasn't really a true number 2 catcher till he got to Atlanta, and he said his idol became Eddie Perez, who's their bullpen coach now. Longtime personal catcher of Greg Maddux. You mentioned Henry Blanco, who's currently on the Cubs staff, but those guys he tipped his cap to. It is not an easy job.
And he shaved his mustache.
See Banuelos looking up a pretty good sweat here, and likely will be the same for John Lester tonight.
Oh, John, my goodness, he'll go through 6 T-shirts tonight.
Another check on the runner. Cubs are over 500 on the road and at home, but just 1 over away from Wrigley Field, 22-21. There goes Denorfia. Ross pulls one in the air to left, pretty deep, but Gomes on the warning track is going to have room. That'll send Denorfia back to first. 2 outs in the inning.
This is a ball that had Denorfia not been running, he probably would have been able to tag up and make a mad dash to second base with that deep fly ball. But going with the pitch, it made sense to just kind of drop anchor there at second base, read the ball, and see if there's any chance it would fall in.
Now Lester, 1 out of 34. The hit came 2 starts ago. And he grounds into a fielder's choice to end the inning. Bottom 2, 0-0. ABC7 is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Check out our exciting model lineup by visiting your local authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer or visit us today at mbusa.com. Well, happy birthday, young man. Chris Johnson has been the prototypical platoon guy this year. 362 average against lefties. And a strike from John Lester.
252 overall. He's done a fair bit of damage against the Cubs in his career.
Third baseman by trade, playing first tonight. Freddie Freeman on the DL. Fowler drifting back, and he's got room.
Playing fantasy baseball, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv. Do it now. Do it today. Do it right this minute.
I think it's fair to say, after the White Sox won the World Series, A.J. Pierzynski, a 28-year-old catcher in 2005, if you had said, what are the chances he's still catching 10 years later? You'd say probably not great. But he can't be at the big reunion this weekend in Chicago because he's an Atlanta Brave. And as we talked about last night, he's been really good this year.
Hitting 283.
That ball hit him. These guys are former teammates, briefly in Boston last year.
Cut fastball that he just didn't finish.
Juan Uribe, 0 for 4 last night. Strike called. Not a good throw by Ross, but Addison Russell right behind Lester.
There's another guy that can't be at the reunion.
Juan Uribe.
Yeah.
Inside, 2-1. Andrelton Simmons on deck. Outside now, Lester behind in the count, 3-1.
Uribe's been around a long time. Broke in with the Rockies back in 2001. Good run with the White Sox. Couple of years with the Giants.
Swing and a miss. 3-2. Dodgers traded him here in late May.
Picked it up a notch since joining the Braves.
Pierzynski runs, swing and a miss, strike 3, throw to second, out. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. The inning is over. 2 in the books, scoreless.
The Volkswagen defensive play of the game. Freddie Gonzalez hoping for ball 4 or contact, gets neither. Swing and a miss, and AJ Pierzynski becomes an easy out at second base. Probably should have used the timeout there. Maybe didn't want to burn it this early in the game. That throw was overqualified for the situation.
Here we go in the third. Addison Russell takes a strike.
Sharp breaking get over curveball from Benuelos. We've seen fastball changeup, and there's a pretty good hook. He also has a slider.
Hey, we want to pass along our condolences to the family of Barb Harrigan, who passed away yesterday at 86 years old. And we're thinking about her family and friends. 0-2 on the ground. Simmons moving to his glove side.
It would be a good idea to limit the number of balls you hit in his direction. He's only made 3 errors all year.
Switch hitting Fowler. Takes ball 1. He flied to right to lead off the ball game.
Got more chances from the right side in recent games. The Cubs went for quite a while there without seeing any left-handed pitching at all, starting pitching anyway. But last 10 days or so, they've seen a few, and it's given Fowler a chance to get some maybes from this side, his preferred side.
Another ball lifted, and it's Markakis again. Watch Chicago's #1 news, ABC 7. Eyewitness News in the morning, weekdays 4:30 to 7 a.m. with Judy Sue and Terrell Brown. 2 outs, and it's Chris Bryant. Still looking for his first hit of the series. And he cuts and misses.
And there's the slider.
Dodgers and Nationals were suspended last night. They had 3 power outages in Washington, D.C. Nationals Park, a faulty circuit breaker. Nationals were leading 3-2. They finished the game today, and the Nationals won it 5-3. And a Matt Den Decker pinch hit 2-run homer in the 8th. The regularly scheduled game, the Dodgers won 4-2 behind Clayton Kershaw's 14 strikeouts. He beat Doug Fister. 14 punch-outs over 8 innings. Kershaw's earned run average down to 268. 2-2 on Bryant.
Yeah, in what has been portrayed as a down year for Clayton Kershaw. And maybe by his standards it is.
That will get over Simmons. Little topspin liner. So Bryant does have his first hit of the series.
Simmons started to elevate and then realized the ball wasn't hit as sharply as he initially thought, and ultimately made a pretty solid effort. Just couldn't quite get up high enough. 2-out knock for Bryant.
Rizzo with a man on, 2 outs, and it takes ball 1. Royals beat the White Sox in 13 innings on a Lorenzo Cain home run. 7-6 the final.
Home run, that would be a good idea. Cubs have not done a lot of that lately. Haven't scored a lot lately. Their last 20 ball games, they've been held to 2 or fewer in 14 of those 20 games. They've got 9-11 because they've pitched so well.
Yeah, they've hit only 6 home runs during this stretch. Their slash line is rather unsightly. .216 team average. Their on base percentage .297. Slugging .294.
Yeah.
Hard to win games doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we are in a very much a low run scoring environment, so you kind of have to recalibrate when you think about the numbers. But clearly, you know, they've got to find a way to pick it up some.
That throw gets away from Johnson. Bryant to second on his way to third, and I believe they did call obstruction anyway on Johnson. So Bryant at third. That'll be an error on Banuelos. They said Tim Timmons that Johnson impeded his progress after he was going after the ball. Again, it really doesn't matter because he ended up at third. Right? Okay. Not sure I agree with that, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I like the way Bryant, he just goes hard the whole way. I think a lot of guys, as they got closer to third base, would break it down just assuming that's as far as they're going to get. Bryant never makes that assumption. He always pushes for more.
So he's now at third and a 2-1 count on Rizzo. Chris Johnson continues his conversation with Tim Timmons. That's a strike. 2-2. The pitch on the ground into right, and a base hit. So that error looms large as Bryant scores, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
Last night it was the Braves who took advantage of a Cub error to score a run, and now Cubs take advantage of the errant throw by Banuelos, and Rizzo doing what he does with 2 strikes. Shortening up, using the hands, and getting a knock.
Now the pitch to Jorge Soler. Fouled back. So I guess the irony is, John Lester doesn't throw to first very often. And by simply not throwing to first, he can't make a throwing error. And yet it's the other starting pitcher making a critical mistake on that very same throw.
There is a level of irony there, eh?
And on top of that, they get the strike him out, throw him out double play to end the Braves' threat in the second. Ball and 2 strikes on Soler. Big crowd, but pretty quiet, I would say, here early on.
They've had nothing to chop about.
When they get ready to sing that song, do they literally say chop chop?
Chop chop.
Yeah, I would say beyond Braves Nation, whatever that is, their fandom, that's not a very popular song. In fact, I would say it ends up being rather annoying to most baseball fans of other teams.
Yeah, first couple times you heard it, and that's kind of neat.
The 2-2 pitch is golfed into center. Maben to end the inning. Cubs grab the lead 1-0 in the third. Seven is brought to you by Sports Clips. It's good to be a guy. Cubs lead 1-0 on an unearned run. Manny Banuelos. And Andrelton Simmons takes a pitch low from John Lester. So there's your run, John. Over his last 7 starts coming in, the Cubs had scored 3 runs total while he had been in the game. So make that 4 runs down his last 8. As Russell retires Simmons.
Yeah, and just 12 runs total throughout the entire 9 innings of his last 9 starts. You see the run support or lack thereof.
Yeah, and over half of his starts, 10 of his first 18, he's received no more than 1 run of support. Banuelos, right-handed hitter, left-handed thrower. He's 0 for 1 with 2 sac bunts. Not much experience in the minor leagues, just 2 out of 12 in his minor league career. That's a strike. It's 1-1.
If we didn't know any better, we'd say the hitters are hazing John Lester, the new guy on the team.
Uppercut swing, 1-2.
Exactly 7 innings in each of his last 3 starts. Last time out he gave up 5 runs, 4 earned, but pitched very well. Didn't allow many base runners. Had some bad luck. Unearned run. He didn't walk anybody. Struck out 8. We mentioned earlier this Braves club has really struggled against left-handed pitching as a team, hitting just .236 against southpaws. Significantly better against the northpaws. Freddie Gonzalez in his 5th year as skipper here.
Swing and a miss. Got him on a curveball. Let's take a look at the forward upcoming schedule. Yeah, 4 o'clock Central Time tomorrow, and then off to Cincinnati against that Cincinnati ball club. Night games Monday, Tuesday, day-night doubleheader. Both games here on ABC 7 on Wednesday. So the southpaw thing, the origin of that, you know what it is, right? Mm-hmm. The configuration of most baseball fields. Wrigley Field would be one of those, with the first base line to the east, the third base line to the north, where the pitcher would be standing. His left arm would be to the south.
Yeah,
southpaw.
Southpaw. Port sider.
That is true here at Turner Field. The 1-1 to Peterson is in there for a strike. But you're right, you don't hear northpaw.
Yeah.
I think you just made up a new term. That probably exists, but for whatever reason we decide to give the lefties the quirky nicknames. Cubs thought that was strike 3, 2-2.
But because they're a minority, there's fewer of them, therefore they get the distinction of being different. This was definitely a strike last night, many times, not every time.
Our Xfinity pitch tracks. That time he got him. Peterson caught looking for the 2nd time tonight. Witness News, weeknights at 10 with Ron Majors, Kathy Brock, Cheryl Burton, Jerry Taft, and Mark Giangreco. Downtown Atlanta. Cubs and Braves, middle game. The 3-game set. 4 coming up at Wrigley Field. August 20 through the 23rd. Denorfia 1 for 1, singled in the second. And ahead in the count, 2-0.
Since we're always looking for comparables in this game, you get Banuelos out there in a Braves uniform, maybe a little Steve Avery-like. Avery had that sharp curveball, worked up in the zone with the fastball.
Close pitch. It goes Denorfia's way, 3-1. Rays over the Jays, 3-2 in Toronto. Kurt Casale, go ahead home run in the 8th. Hit well out in the deep left. Gomes won't make the catch, and one hops the wall. And Denorfia has a leadoff double.
He's obviously seeing it well here tonight. 2 at-bats, 2 sharply hit balls, 1 single, 1 double. Gomes is not going to make a lot of plays for you out there in left field. Does not have a very good reputation, but I don't know that a really good outfielder would have been able to track this one down.
Castro, the hitter. First pitch swinging in the second. He flied to center. And the pitch. It is in there for a strike. Starlin looking for a turnaround. He's 3 for his last 39. That one floated into right for a base hit. Denorfia around third. He'll score. It's 2-0 Cubs on the RBI single from Starlin Castro. Didn't hit it hard, but it was well placed.
Absolutely. When hits have been hard to come by, you're just happy to get anything. And not only does he get a base hit, but he gets an RBI base hit. He was working really hard to try to stay inside that ball and make sure he hit it the other way.
Check on the runner. Ross with a vicious cut, fouled it to the screen.
The whole state, unless perhaps that gentleman's name might be Alabama. I don't know.
His first name's Al. His last name is Obama.
I know a lot of people named Austin and Dallas. Could be Alabama. Oh, 2 on Ross.
Sidestep in the pitch. This should be 2. Whoa, it won't be. As Peterson had trouble getting rid of the ball. Looked like they took some time knowing Ross was running, but took too much time, and the result is only 1 out.
The errant pickoff throw by Banuelos led to a run in the first. Now see if the Cubs can make something with this.
This will not be a neighborhood play, so yeah, okay. Cubs were checking the video to see if in fact Simmons was on the bag, and it appeared he was.
Some creative footwork on his part. Peterson couldn't get the handle on that ball, upset the timing of the play.
Yeah, it's one thing, to make the dazzling turns in a spectacular play. Sometimes it's just bailing out a teammate. And again, since I seem to be in an ironic mood, there's a pitch to Lester. I think if somebody else hits that ball, Peterson plays it much more aggressively, and they probably turn it. But because it's the catcher running, he's thinking, I've got all the time in the world. What happened? Kind of stabbed at that one, 1 and 2.
Yeah, a lot of instructors will tell you when you're up there bunting, just think about trying to catch the ball with the barrel of the bat, not jab at it as he did.
He's put down a couple so far this year. Called strike 3. Actually, none this year. He's given up 2. Visit the Cubs Authentics auction page every week for your chance to own one-of-a-kind game-used Cubs items. This week's auction includes the 1958 throwback jerseys worn on July 12th. Go to Cubs.com/authentics before this Sunday night at 8 p.m. to place your bid. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics items to Cubs charities. Knocked down by Przinsky. That looks kind of authentic. If not, he might be getting a phone call from somebody. At least the person who sold it to him. 1-0. Strikeout for Banuelos, only the second of the night for him. He may not be long for this night. He's had to labor here at times.
Yeah, well, Julio Teheran, the starter last night, lasted 4 2/3 as his pitch count got high in the middle innings. In terms of pitches per plate appearance, the Cubs have been at or near the top all year long. Oftentimes forcing manager to go earlier to that bullpen than he would prefer. Now last night it worked out for the Braves because their bullpen was outstanding. It'll take a toll, especially on a hot, muggy night like this.
Swing and a miss to end the inning, but the Cubs add to their lead on the Castro RBI hit. It's 2-0. season is brought to you by the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group. You're going to like buying a car this way. Cubs 2, Braves nothing. John Lester's been very good here early on. He's allowed only one hit. He also hit a batter. No damage on the big board to this point as Maben takes strike one. Cameron Maben, 28 years old. He was a 10th overall pick in the 05 draft by Detroit. He's been a Marlin, a Padre, and now a Brave. He has shown flashes at times and has really put together a nice season to date here for the Braves. Whether he finishes the year with Atlanta remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think the Braves might be in sell high mode as Maben's value has increased with his performance here in the first half of this year. They're moving into a new ballpark in 2017, and you get the sense that their focus is going to be, let's try to be competitive when we move into that new ballpark. Very active this winter. They've acquired a lot of young, high upside arms.
Two bouncer, Castro gets him.
Let's take a look at the league leaders, brought to you by DeVry University. Nick Markakis, the man stepping into the batter's box. Not a renowned slugger, but certainly a guy with a fair bit of power, but he has not yet hit a home run this year. He's the leader in terms of at-bats or plate appearances without a home run.
Born in Glen Cove, New York, went to high school in Woodstock, Georgia, and then Young Harris College in Georgia. Longtime Baltimore Oriole, signed a 4-year free agent contract over the winter.
Yeah, apparently family moved to this area because he was showing such promise as a baseball player.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
He played travel teams with Jeff Francoeur, Jeremy Hermida. This is a very talent-rich area here around Atlanta and in the environs.
Pretty good pitcher in college as well. Two-way player. He was the junior college player of the year according to Baseball America. 2002. Won the award again the following year. So trouble with the curve. That movie about the baseball scout,
the Amy Adams vehicle.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
As we like to say in the business.
Apparently that was filmed at Young Harris College. And did you have a credited role?
No. My voice was in the background.
Really?
Yeah. Brownie and I were calling an Astros Braves game, and it was on in the cafe when Amy Adams was chatting with Justin Timberlake.
You get a residual check?
Get nothing. Yeah, not even a thank you.
I was hoping you'd get an IMDb.
Thinking maybe a red carpet appearance.
Right. Did you see the movie?
Of course, I had to.
And did you like it?
Great. Did I like it? Let me start by saying I'm easily entertained at the movies. Easily entertained at the movies. It was okay. It was fine. It wasn't a great movie.
right to Castro. On JD's movie scale, he gives it an stars. The one baseball movie that kind of divides baseball fans, I think, is For Love of the Game. You get a very wide array of answers. People either loved it or hated it. Or
Costner?
Yeah. Mike Borzello worked with John C. Reilly, who knew nothing about catching. And Mike tells the story. It was after one particular year he was working with the Yankees. He ended up spending like 6 weeks on set when it was supposed to be a couple of days. 2-0 Cubs after 4. Dunkin' Donuts fan cam. America runs on Dunkin'. Now back to live action as Dexter Fowler takes a curveball from Banuelos for strike. 2-0 fifth inning. 0-2 on the Atlanta area native. He went to Milton High School. Milton is just north of Atlanta. One of his substitute teachers in high school was former Cub Bobby Scales.
His mom's a teacher. Dexter was recruited to play basketball and baseball at Harvard. Had decided to attend the University of Miami to play baseball before opting to sign with the Rockies.
He has worked a full count. Chris Bryant is on deck. Interesting, the Braves have one hit, and it was a play a lot of people thought should have been called an error on Bryant. Markakis with a first inning single. The 3-2 is outside, ball 4. Leadoff man is now on for the third time in 5 innings for the Cubs.
Yeah, you're not supposed to cheer in the press box, but the official score is probably hoping that the Braves get a clean single off John Lester before long here. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny on that call. Certainly wasn't an easy play for Brian, but a lot of scorers work off the idea that the first hit's got to be a clean one.
Swinging strike.
I don't know that I buy that. I think if I'm an official scorer, I just look at the play in the vacuum and say, is that a hit or an error?
Right. Bryant leads the Cubs in RBIs and walks. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnson holding him on, and Manuelos will check on him.
I don't know. Typically, those throwovers are called from the dugout. Most managers control the running game now. A.J. Przinsky, being a veteran, maybe Freddie Gonzalez will yield to A.J. Just let him handle it. Manuelos has been a little bit preoccupied with Cub base runners here tonight. Fowler got capable certainly of stealing a base, but he has not been doing a lot of running.
Swing and a miss on a change. 2-2.
Most of the running that the Cubs do is basically starting a base runner to try to stay out of a double play. And there's that good changeup again from Banuelos. Even without the high octane velocity, you can see why the Braves really like this kid. He's got a nice mix of pitches.
Bryant strikes out.
On Friday next, that would be the 24th, the Phillies are in town. First pitch is at 3:05, and the first 10,000 fans at the ballpark will receive a Billy Williams replica statue. That's presented by Pepsi. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
We will not see another former Cub who's in the Hall of Fame when the Phillies come in. Ryne Sandberg, of course, recently resigned as a Phillies manager. As Rizzo pops one left center, it'll be the center fielder Maben. Did you see Larry Bowa's comments recently? Fowler tags, but he's going to hold.
Yes, I did read that story.
Moments of disrespect shown by some veteran guys toward Rhino in the last couple of years. That's surprising.
Some of the pitchers. And I know there was a big dust up when Chase Utley got after Bob McClure, the pitching coach, when Jeff Francoeur had volunteered to pitch, and Rhino had checked with Frenchie, and he said, yeah, I'm good for a couple of innings, but Utley thought that they were abusing Francoeur by leaving him out there for 2 innings. So it wasn't directed at Sandberg. He was getting after McClure, but you know, when you run down one of the coaches by extension, you're kind of getting in the face of the manager.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't always go this way, but it seems like it's a bad mix when you have a lot of high-paid veterans on a really bad team.
Oh, yeah, it can be toxic.
It can get really ugly, and it sounds like it had at times before Rhino stepped down.
Yeah, I remember when Rhino first took over, he came in, he said, we're going to start doing this extra work and that. And, you know, I imagine a lot of the older players there were like, hey, wait a minute now, don't forget what we've accomplished here over the last few years. And you know, there was probably some immediate tension there. It's just a bad situation for his first big league gig. Hopefully he'll get another one.
Yep. Fowler runs, ground ball backhanded by Uribe, up with it, throw to first, safe. Ball gets away from Johnson. Fowler with an aggressive turn around third, and he'll hold there. Got to give Soler a hit on that play, right?
Well, yeah, but if the other one, if the one down in Bryant was a hit, then I'm guessing this should be a hit as well. I guess the question is, were they plays that should have been made? They were plays that could have been made. And the first part of the play was spectacular. Accurate throw would have gotten him. But he's in a hurry. He's a little bit off balance. Johnson not able to bail him out on the other end. Looking to push for an extra 90 if that ball kicked a little further away from Chris Johnson.
Still have not gotten, they're saying, infield hit for Soler. So Roger McDowell out to talk it over with pitcher and catcher.
Good charge, Uribe, with the throwing error, allowing Fowler to advance to third base, but the scorer may have determined that he was headed that way anyway with the throw going across the diamond.
So walking an infield hit here in the fifth, and now it's Denorfia who's reached twice on a single and a double, and he scored after getting on in the fourth. Castro knocked him in. Strike one. Curveball low. Two and one to Denorfia. Young lefty coming home, and it's outside. 3-1.
And pitching away from contact here, understandable given the swings that Denorfia has had against him already tonight. But he's pitched his way into a little bit of a corner here at 3-1.
They're loaded. So Denorfia's strong night continues. 3 plate appearances and has reached all 3 times, and that'll be it for Banuelos. The Cubs lead 2-0 in the fifth. 3 on, 2 down, and we'll be back. by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group. You're going to like buying a car this way. Chicago native Jason Frazier will make his Braves debut, and the jersey number matches the record number of players used by the Braves this season. They have set a club record already for a single season, and it's only July 18th. They've used 51 different players.
Yeah, it's been kind of a wild ride here in Atlanta. The bullpen's been a big issue for them. They've really struggled, so they've reworked that. We saw Ross Detweiler, a veteran left-hander, also recently acquired by Atlanta, pitching the ball game last night. Frazier's a veteran, longtime American leaguer, mostly with Toronto, but he's also spent time with the White Sox. Last year, the Rangers and the Royals. This year, he was with the Royals. Had a 1.54 ERA in 26 appearances before being released.
Way too many walks. 15 walks in just over 23 innings. So he faces Castro with the bases full and 2 outs.
I guess that also speaks to the depth of that Kansas City bullpen.
92 on the Heat for strike 1.
Complement that fastball with a slider and a split finger pitch.
Officially signed with the Braves yesterday. This is his National League debut. Whole career in the American League before tonight.
RBI single for Castro last time. Chance to really open things up here. He's down in the count.
Frazier went to Southern Illinois University. Before that, Oak Forest High School. Called strike 3. Cubs strand 3, but lead 2-0 in the 5th.
out by John Lester here tonight. He has been locked in, started the game with a punch out and really settled in. There's the base hit. It certainly could have been made. I don't know if you could make the argument that it should have been made. It's always the debate for the official score, but John Lester unfazed by that. There's the strikeout, throw-out double play. That ended the second inning. He's got 4 punch outs altogether. He's allowed that scratch single and a hit batter, and that's it in terms of base runners. And that's following the trend. Starting pitching for the Cubs, last 14 games, a .50 ERA.
Well, comfortable place for him. He makes his off-season home here in Atlanta. And working on a gem so far tonight. The 0-1 on the way to Chris Johnson. Inside 1-1. Here's the pitch. Ooh, close, didn't get it. 2-1.
Take a look at our Xfinity pitch tracks. Good call, just off the corner.
5th career start against the Braves. Made 2 last year. 1 with Boston, 1 with the A's. 2-2 lifetime with a .360.
Bet you $1 he swings.
You're correct. So I look at Chris Johnson and the way he sets up. He's got a Braves uniform on, maybe a little Julio Franco like.
Kind of bet over the top, dipping that barrel a little bit.
Swing and a miss. Right, 3. Good comeback by Lester.
And Johnson, one of those guys, even when you're behind him, you don't really have to give in because he rarely walks. He's up there swinging, especially with a lefty on the mound. He's looking to do some damage. Good execution by Lester and Ross after they tried to paint that outside corner. Came back with a good breaking ball and then the elevated fastball to get him.
Brzezinski fouls. He got plunked in the second. Later caught stealing.
Braves upper third in the National League in terms of batting average, but not on base because they don't walk much and they don't hit many home runs either.
Robinson Cano supplied all the offense for the Mariners today against his former team in the Bronx. He hit a couple of 2-run homers in a Seattle 4-3 win. That'll get out of play. Hasn't gone all that well for Cano this year. Came into today hitting .249 with only 6 home runs.
Well, it's, you know, the ballpark in Seattle, obviously a very difficult place to hit home runs.
Right, didn't we have a conversation about him in spring training? That very
he had 14 last year, his first year with the Mariners. And while with the Yankees, 25, 29, 28, 33, right. 27.
That's why I like OPS Plus. It kind of adjusts that stuff. And last year he was Robinson Cano. So even though he only hit 14 homers, when you adjust it for the home ballpark. Now this year, much different story. I mean, his numbers way down all across the board. He's a career .306 hitter. And as I said, came in under .250. Lester will take it unassisted. Hey, Cub fans, if you miss any of today's action, ABC 7 will rebroadcast each one of their Cubs matchups on the Live Well Network. Tonight's encore, Cubs Braves, will air in its entirety beginning at 11 p.m. on ABC's digital channel 7.2 and the following cable channel positions. So good Sunday morning to you about this time. Doing the quick math. You'll be hearing this at around 12:40 something.
Hope everybody's doing okay. There's some pretty good storms passed through Chicago today.
For those of you watching a rebroadcast, you know or can find out the final score of this game, and we don't know. How about that?
So confusing.
Feel like we're time traveling.
John Lester's misses tonight have been good. When he misses, it's just off the corner, down below the knees. He's thrown very few pitches over the heart of the plate.
Lester's 2-1, now 2-2. Uribe held up. Full count. Simmons on deck. All four.
Third base runner, first walk. Just cut that one off a little bit. Didn't quite get through that pitch. You can see him shaking his head. Unhappy with himself. He'll take a little extra time.
So this starting staff on quite a run. Last 14 games, Cubs starters with a 150 earned run average. No homers in the last 10 plus. And a little run support tonight, so Lester working with a seemingly comfortable lead, but the tying runs at the plate. Strike called on Simmons.
Simmons drew a big walk in the 8th inning last night, part of the 2-run Braves rally that proved to be the difference.
Pedro Siriaco is on deck. That's in there. It's 0-2.
Joe Madden talks about the relentless pursuit of execution and technique, or something to that effect. John Lester, when you watch him pitch, it's the relentless pursuit of the bottom of the zone for the most part. He reminds me a little bit of Roger Clemens. Obviously, he's not a northpaw like Roger, but Clemens was that way. He just did not want to give in to the middle of the zone, always pounding down or on the corners.
Yeah, their mound demeanor kind of similar too.
Big sturdy guys, very intense.
Chopper to the shortstop. Castro will feed Russell, and that'll end the inning. Through 5. John Lester leading 2-0. Dodge focusing in on the wild card race. And the Pirates trailing again at Milwaukee 5-3 in the top of the fifth. Cardinals all over the Mets 6-0. Diamondbacks with an early 1-0 lead over San Francisco. Jason Frazier still in there, working against David Ross. Pitch. Got a fastball by him, 1-1.
Cubs' next opponent, the Reds, playing a weekend series at home with the Indians, trailing 6-1. They're in the sixth.
One and two. The all-time leader in games pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays, Jason Frazier, 505 career appearances. There are two pretty solid choices for number 2 on that list.
Hey, let's had some action up here.
So he broke whose record?
Games pitched
for the Blue Jays. So you think of the two kind of dominant guys back in the 80s. Like at 90s.
Tom Hankey, kind of Canadian,
right?
booster.
Or
Dwayne Ward,
right? So it'd be one of those two guys. They were within 6 of each other. Dwayne Ward 452 appearances. Hankey 446. Deep right, playable.
On Sunday, July 26th, it'll be the final of a 3-game set with the Phillies. Game time is at 1:20. First 5,000 kids receive a Cubs replica batting helmet presented by Advocate Children's Hospital. After the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases. That's weather permitting, of course. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
Referencing the tomahawk chop earlier. Well, we got a young Cub fan that got into it, but mom said cut it out.
Yeah. She's feeling guilty because he's clearly steamed. Good hack.
Yep.
It's an 8-0 lead for the Cardinals over the Mets now. Should be an easy win for John Lackey. Bartolo Colon gave up 7 in 4 1/3. National League Central, the division, collectively 28 games better than 500. That's the best mark of any division in baseball. Give you a sense of what the Cubs are up against, trying to chase down the Cardinals and the Pirates. Reds 7 games below 500 coming into play tonight. Even the Brewers have been the bottom feeder all year. They've been a lot better in the last few weeks.
Slicing fly ball, long run Maben. He's there. 2 outs. Here comes Russell.
See what Mike Trout did last night?
Yeah, a walk-off home run. after leading off the All-Star game with a home run. 1-0 over Boston. He leads the American League in homers, 27.
Bryce Harper hit his 27th today for the Nationals. But don't you think somebody should be writing a song about Mike Trout at some point? Seems like.
Sure.
Yeah, he's that kind of guy, right?
Talking baseball.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Or at least use his name in a catchy lyric like, DiMaggio and Mrs. Robinson.
For all you young songwriters out there, the challenge has been put forth.
The legend of Mike Trout. Also likes that high fastball. He got beat by a high heater last time up to strike out.
From the stretch.
You hate to put a lot of pressure on young kids, but when you've got a lineup that features so many young kids, you're going to need these guys to have better second halves. Either that or you're just going to have to continue pitching at a tremendously high level.
2-2. Lester has done his part tonight without a win over his last 10 starts. Strike 3 called, and the inning is over. I'm trying to get along here tonight. 2-0 Cubs. Summary. John Lester's been terrific. Probably should have a no-hitter going here into the bottom of the 6th. A questionable hit call in the first inning. Other than that, he's been lights out. And the RBIs tonight belong to Rizzo and Castro. Pedro Siriaco will bat for Jason Frazier, who had a very successful Braves debut. Faced 4, retired all of them, 2 on strikeouts. Shows bunt, takes ball 1. Arrieta and Miller tomorrow. What a matchup on paper that is. Bounced right to Bryant. One All-Star and another who probably should have been. Miller represented the Braves. Jake got a few days off.
Yeah, boy, a couple hard chunking right-handers. That should be fun tomorrow afternoon. Arrieta coming off that complete game effort against the White Sox last Sunday.
Peterson caught looking both times, and a curve catches the outer edge. So we had the Diamondbacks leading earlier 1-0. It's now 4-1 San Francisco in the 3rd. Jake Peavy pitching for the Giants. 1-2. Slicing drive, left field, on the move to Northfield. Makes the grab. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. 2 outs here in the Braves' 6th.
Lester in pretty good shape in terms of the pitch count, sitting at 80 here with 2 outs in the 6th.
Former Cub David Aardsma. (2-0). Lester has walked 1. That was Uribe in the 5th.
A good example of his mindset right there. 2-0 with Maben up there. He does have a little pop, but he's not a real slugger. And he wasn't about to throw him a cookie. You saw Ross slide over the outside corner. They're still trying to paint 2-0 there. Look at the sweat drip off the bill of his hat. It's a rainy night in Georgia on the pitcher's mound.
Broken bat bouncer. Bryant's got it. And the inning is over. We go to the 7th. Cubs 2, Braves 0. Cubs baseball on ABC7 is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Cubs trying to set up a rubber game tomorrow, and they lead 2-0. Try to add on here in the 7th. Left right-hander, former Cub David Hardsma.
Hardsma with the Cubs way back in 2006, originally drafted and signed by the Giants. First round pick of theirs in 03, debuted in the big leagues in 2004. Battled injuries, did not pitch in the big leagues last year.
And he has a very fortunate surname. Tell you why here in a second. Fowler batting lefty. Takes it low with the double-A. When you look at the all-time list of major league players, in the history of the game, alphabetically, he's first. Just in front of Hank Aaron, who had held the top spot for nearly 50 years.
We're just getting an announcement that the official score has changed Markakis' base hit to an E5. So here we go.
Okay. Yeah, that does change things a little bit. And it'll be interesting. They have not yet taken a hit off the board, but when they do, if the fans hear how long it'll take them to realize it. So that's one thing, but you're watching at home and you know before the fans hear of the updated scoring as Fowler walks. Third time he has walked now in the series. Dexter 1 for 3 with a walk last night. Final game of the first half, he had 3 hits. So hopefully a sign of things to come. So there you go. I don't remember a situation I've called quite like this where they waited that long to take the only hit a team has off the board.
Yeah, but if you're thinking about doing it, I guess you better do it sooner rather than later, right? Yep. If you go too long, then it's really going to become controversial.
Bryant sends one sky high to right. Markakis with Fowler tagging, and he's going to hold it first.
Well, let's take a look at this. This is way back in the first inning. Nick Markakis, third man up for the Braves, hit this chopper down the third baseline. Chris Bryant came in, tried to make a backhanded play on it, whiffed on it. Originally ruled a base hit, just changed to an E5.
I got to pay off the alphabetical order of the all-time baseball roster. Dutch Zwilling is Zwilling, pulls up the rear, and he was not only a Chicago Cub, but he played for the Federal League team and the White Sox. So he had a very short-lived career, all spent in Chicago. About 100 years ago. So from David Hardsma to Dutch Zwilling, that's every player who's ever played at this level.
I don't know, 14, 15,000 guys.
I'd say 16,000 ish. Tony Zick, who had been a part of the Cubs chain, now in the Mariners organization. He's at AAA. And he's a Chicago native, went to St. Rita. If he gets to the big leagues, he would take over for Zwilling. What all of this means? Not much. Just fun.
Yeah, baseball fans like to play with names.
2-1 on Rizzo. I suppose if David wanted to keep that particular thing in the family, if he's got a son who thinks he's going to get to the big leagues, he should try to add another A at the front of his name. That'd probably do it, wouldn't it?
AAA Ardsma.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Although you'd want to be major league Ardsma,
Yeah.
but I know what you mean. That'll bring up Soler with 2 outs. The Cubs, by the way, have done very little against the Braves bullpen. But tonight they're hoping that the 2 runs they got off the starter Benuelos will be enough. And if you're wondering, John Lester threw 6 innings, 85 pitches on a hot and humid night here in Atlanta. The other interesting thing is we get the press box announcement in our booth. If you're sitting in the Cubs dugout, is everybody noticing on the board?
Right, I don't know. That's a great question.
And then if you do notice, you're not going to walk up to the starting pitcher and say, "Hey, John,
check it out, man."
Runner goes, and Soler fouls.
Now, there's some pitchers you might, but I don't think I would do it with John.
Right.
But yeah, and I think I'm guessing that Peter Chase down in the press box is probably called down to the dugout to let Joe Madden know, hey, by the way, if you hadn't noticed, you guys got a no-no going.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that in the clubhouse and the video guys, they're well aware of it. But you're right, you're not going to go up to that guy and tell him. There's a 1-1. Imagine John's at 128 pitches in the 9th, and he looks over at his manager. Why am I still in the game?
What's going on, man?
Just keep pitching. You're fine. See, the wind has picked up here. 2-1 hit in the air, and the wind's going to push this one, I think, well out of play, and it will.
Brzezinski chatting with Ardsma, a couple of veterans trying to figure out how they're going to try to put away Soler. Everybody up on their toes, oscillating for that foul ball.
Oh, good use of that word.
A ripple go right up the stands there. A flash of lightning overhead. A little weather in the area here. No, he didn't. A lot of hitters, as they develop at the big league level, will change their approach, change the swing a little bit. It will be interesting to see how Soler develops in terms of lifting the ball a little bit more, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He's a line drive hitter. Normally, you don't counsel against that. Line drives are just fine, but he is so big and strong. You like to see him hit the ball out of the ballpark a little more often.
Called strike 3. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. John Lester has a no-hitter intact, believe it or not. Cubs lead. John Lester has been outstanding tonight. Make sure you get your first alert weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Jerry Taft and Meteorologist Cheryl Scott only on ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Nick Markakis. Thought he had a hit in the first inning. It was taken away. Chris Bryant charged with an error, so he's now 0 for 2. And takes strike 1. So base runner's error in the first, hit batter in the second, a walk in the 5th. Fouled back. Chad tweets, is it still too late to give Kevin Ory an error? Asking for a friend. That's good. That's a good one. Well, the only hit Kerry Wood gave up in the 20 strikeout game. Regardless of the fact that he did give up a hit, still considered by many to be one of the most dominating starts ever. One and two. Gomes and then Chris Johnson. He struck him out. Number 6 for Lester.
Curveball's been a nice pitch for him here tonight. This is what he finishes Markakis off with. On the same plane as the cutter. Take that breaking ball and put more of a hump and just kind of loop it into the strike zone, or throw it like he did there down in the dirt when he's looking for a swing and a miss.
Pitch. Ball 1. Ball 2. Very windy all of a sudden. They overshift to the left against Gomes. Strike called, 2-1.
Ooh.
Wow. 3-1. Into the wind, and the 3-1 pitch. Pulled deep. It is foul. Home run distance to the left of the pole, 3-2. Just a long strike.
Scary strike. And a strike nonetheless. We talked last inning about how few pitches John has thrown over the heart of the plate. That was one. He got away with it.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 outs here in the 7th.
Get a break, take advantage of it.
Johnson has flied to center and struck out. Well, John Lester's paid to be great. There's no question about that, but nobody would ever question his work habits. You always feel like he works his rear end off every start he has tonight. This is getting fun, isn't it? He's no-hitting the Braves through 7, and the Cubs lead 2-0. ABC 7 is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. John Lester has not given up a hit, although for about 6 innings he did. And then they took it away. I think we agreed at the time it happened that it should have been an error on Chris Bryant, and the official score eventually agreed. So the Cubs try to tack on here in the 8th. Ball 1 on Chris Denorfia.
Yeah, I don't think ruling it a base hit was an egregious call, but I kind of like error there. You know, if I was charged with making that call, I would base my decision on those tweeners on how hard the ball is hit. I would reward a hitter for, you know, hitting really sharply if it was questionable. A little chopper like that kind of lean towards error.
Fouled away. Well, let's hope the rain holds off.
Denorfia has been the offensive man of the match for the Cubs here tonight. Single, double, walk.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 consecutive punch-outs for David Artsman. So Lester no-hit Kansas City early in his career, 2008. It was May 19th of that year. It was the first complete game and first shutout of his major league career. Late in that 08 season was the last Cubs no-hitter thrown by Carlos Zambrano against the Houston Astros in Milwaukee. Strike called on Castro. I don't know if you were wearing 2 different shoes that night.
I was indeed.
The 0-1. Fouled out of play.
Hurricane Ike. The game was relocated from Houston to Milwaukee, and
there was no game series,
we had no
right?
lights. We had no lights on in the house. Threw on a pair of shoes and got to the airport and realized they were different shoes.
The Astros ended up with 1 hit in that 2-game series in Milwaukee. They were not too pleased about how that turned out. Ross on deck. Pokes that one out into right center. Diving grab, Cameron Maybin. What a catch. Who does he think he is? Andrew Jones?
Pretty good Andrew Jones impersonation here. A good break on the ball by Maybin. We talked about this last night. The center fielder, he has to kind of make a decision on the fly as to whether he's going to leave his feet or not. With the risk-reward game that you play, ball with that trajectory, you know, if you don't catch it, you may be giving up 1 extra base. Hard shot, sinking line drive right at you. If you dive and don't knock it down, it goes all the way to the wall, and probably 3 bases.
He's wearing Jones's old number 25. Ross takes a strike. Lester is on deck at 97 pitches through 7. In case you're wondering, and I want to see the David Palmer rule. I don't know if it was the Palmer no-hitter that changed this rule. Previously, if a game ended 5 innings, 6 innings, if it was official and you didn't give up a hit, you were credited with a no-hitter. That no longer is the case. To be considered a no-hitter, you have to go 9. So retroactively, I think
It's taken away from him.
They took away a few no-nos. It did not go the requisite 9 innings.
It was either David Palmer or Charlie Lee, right? In Montreal.
Three and 2 on Ross. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Don't go anywhere. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. It's 2-0 Cubs. Yep, A.J. Przinsky will lead it off for the Braves. Cubs leading 2-0. Single tallies in the 3rd and the 4th. That's the official score. Jack Wilkinson, originally called the Nick Markakis bouncer that got past Chris Bryant in the 1st inning, a single. And then we found out later it was in the top of the 7th, correct? That it was an error.
Yeah, I believe that's right. So 6 outs to get.
Brzezinski hit by a pitch, caught stealing, and then bounced to Lester in the 5th.
Stay in the moment, one pitch at a time, one hitter at a time.
There it is. A.J. Przinsky, the Cub killer. And I don't think A.J.'s been real happy tonight after he got hit by the Lester pitch earlier. So the first hit for the Braves comes here in the 8th inning.
Trying to go the outer 3rd and down with a cutter, never got it there. Brzezinski able to cut it off.
John never looked. I wonder if AJ looked like he looked at Lester on the way down to first. That's what he does. Curveball strike. So the tying run is at the plate all of a sudden. That's the other thing about this. You're leading 2-0. It feels comfortable until you get a base runner.
Yeah. Hasn't had to make many pitches from the stretch tonight.
Foul tip. I don't know about you, but that was the one guy I was worried about. AJ. I've seen it too many times.
The way he was swinging it last night. He hung out line drives in the ball game last night. He hangs in there pretty well against left-handed pitching.
Not going to happen on my watch. Is that what it looked like he said?
I don't know. Maybe something like that.
Yeah. There was another word thrown in there, but we can't repeat it on television. 3-2. A 3-2 to Uribe, and this one driven deep left center field, caught by Fowler on the warning track. Running grab, Dexter Fowler. Oh, what a play. Brzezinski had gotten all the way to second, and a big first out here in the 8th.
Yeah, I was thinking at the start of this inning that there hadn't been one of those great plays yet to preserve a no-hitter. That's how dominant Lester has been, but he certainly needed some help on that one, and Fowler went a long way to haul it in.
Simmons now. Short lead by Brzezinski. And inside. So here's earlier. I talked last night about AJ is such a heads-up player. This is the kind of stuff, though, that other teams don't like. Now watch. Now that's AJ, and he saw Lester's reaction, like, oh, all right,
whatever.
Yeah. And I'm sure AJ would say, what? Yeah. I just run into the dugout. But that's what he does, and that's the stuff that really gets under the skin of opposing players.
And obviously that's something you can't let get under your skin, because that's a win for him if it does, if it gets you out of your game a little bit. Some guys just need to bring that edge to the ballpark. It's kind of what drives them. It's part of their makeup.
Hector Rondon is up in the Cubs bullpen.
We had Jeff Kent over in Houston there, and it's tough to get a hello out of Jeff on many days. And after his career, we had him on with us, and he was the most engaging guy we'd ever had in the booth. He said, who is this guy? And he said, man, I know. That's just the way I had to be. I had to kind of get into that zone.
Well, I mean, I've had conversations with AJ. Good baseball conversations, but yeah, you get him in that catcher's gear, and he does not care what the other team thinks. 3-0 on Simmons. 3-1. Bounce towards center and through. Brzezinski stops at second. So for the first time tonight, the Braves have 2 men on.
First time tonight they've had a man in scoring position. Simmons, who drew a big walk last night, just beats this ball into the dirt and finds a hole up the middle.
Yuri Perez had the game-winning 2-run hit last night. Has been announced as a pinch hitter, and here comes Joe.
Well, what an effort from John Lester here tonight. Hot, steamy night. Dominant stuff. Still a very tight situation as he leaves the field.
2-0. We'll be back. Chicago Cubs baseball on ABC7 has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Ford, America's best-selling brand. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Back here in Atlanta, John Lester looking for his first win in his last 11 starts. The Cubs have a 2-0 lead. The Braves have 2 men on with 1 out. And it's Hector Rondon. And he will face Kelly Johnson and not Eury Perez, who had been announced. So he's burned.
Hector pitched an inning in the ball game last night. Boy, he was throwing pellets. 98, 99 mile-an-hour fastballs. And Johnson's got power. He can turn on a fastball, so you got to be careful here.
Brzezinski is at second. Simmons the runner at first. .97 for a strike. Hello. 1 and 2. Nothing wrong with that.
Surprised the Cubs aren't playing a little bit deeper in the outfield, especially in right and center. Rondon certainly with a fastball to overpower any hitter. I think in this situation, first thought is pitching away from damage. Just don't make a mistake and let him hit one over the wall or to the wall. Good down and away heater.
Denorfia makes a catch. By the way, they have just changed the Brzezinski and Simmons hits to errors.
Thought you were going to say they changed the Markakis error back to a hit.
No, I'm kidding. 2 hits in the inning. The only hits of the night for Atlanta.
Well, he would have loved the no-no, but he's just hoping to get out of here with a W. It's been a good while since he's been in the winner's circle.
Peterson with 2 outs and a strike.
Little first pitch slide piece. It looked like a changeup he threw to get Johnson.
That was wrong on the attendance. Yep. More in the ballpark tonight than last night. Late arriving crowd. 45-7-5-8. It's been a very well attended series. Braves have not drawn well this year.
Well, there's a lot of Cub fans here.
Yep. One and 2.
And it was interesting to watch as John Lester came off the field. The ovation he got. Yeah, a lot of Cub fans, but a lot of the Brave fans were up too, applauding his effort here tonight.
Hey, got him to end the inning as Rondon bounces off the mound toward the dugout. Still 2-0 after 8. of the game. Anthony Rizzo with a roller into right. Made it 1-0 Cubs in the third inning. It would add to the lead in the fourth. Castro's RBI hit. And so far, that's all John Lester and company had needed. Ryan Kelly will face pinch hitter Kyle Schwarber here in the ninth.
Frazier, Ardsma, and now Kelly out of the Braves bullpen. Kelly, a rookie, 27-year-old rookie. Spent a number of years in the minor leagues with the Pirates, Rangers, Padres.
Here we go. First pitch swinging and popped into center. That's Maben. Russell has grounded out and struck out twice. That's a strike. Phillies beat the Marlins 3-1. Base hit, left center. That was not very smooth.
No, it wasn't. And Addison kind of quit on that play as he got closer to first base. Kind of broke it down a little bit, about 2/3 of the way down the line. And this is the kind of ball you're thinking about possibly trying to get two on. I'm not saying that was the right play to go for two, but you hit this ball out towards the gap, and the outfielders have to go a long way to get it. You got two guys converging there, and had he taken an aggressive turn to first base and not assumed that the ball would be played in cleanly and quickly, he might have been able to get himself into scoring position.
There's Mott. Two and 0 on Dexter Fowler. Pretty good lead by Addison. Kelly gets his sign. Misses again. 3-0. Braves will have 2, 3, and 4 in the bottom of the ninth. Maben, Markakis, and Gomes. There he goes. Ball 4. So as we look ahead off to Cincinnati after tomorrow's late afternoon contest, and we'll have the 2 games from Cincinnati on Wednesday right here on ABC 7. It'll be 11:30 a.m. for game 1.
In game 2, I think it's 6 something Cincinnati time.
So yeah, 5 o'clock Chicago time. 1-0 on Chris Bryant. Some odd start times on this trip. We'll have Saturday and Sunday's games against the Phillies here on ABC 7 next weekend. 3 o'clock on Saturday and 1 o'clock on Sunday. Chance to add on here in the ninth. 3 balls, no strikes.
Chance is getting better with every pitch. Brian sitting there in a very favorable situation. Anthony Rizzo on deck. So Detweiler, the lefty, saw him briefly last night.
Three-two on the ground. Ooh, backhanded play by Uribe. Throw to first. Ball gets away. Fowler around third. He's going to score. Bryant to third. And it's 3-0. Looked like the inning might be over, but that ball got away from Chris Johnson. So they do get some insurance here in the ninth.
Uribe looked like he was surprised by that ball. Johnson not able to make a play on the one-hop throw. Would have been better off coming off the bag and making sure he knocked that ball down, but that's a huge run for the Cubs.
So that's it for Kelly. We'll figure out the scoring on that play when we come back. 3-0 Cubs in the ninth. They're still batting.
And talked about how the Braves had really struggled against left-handed pitching. That coupled with the fact that John Lester has really been throwing the ball well. You anticipated a low-run game tonight, and he certainly delivered as he flirted with a no-hitter. Don't sweat the support. The run support has been meager, to say the least, for Lester. This has got to feel like a breakout game for him, with the Cubs putting 3 runs on the board in one of his starts. And here comes the veteran Ross Detweiler making his second appearance for the Braves, second consecutive appearance. He was with the Rangers earlier, had his struggles there. Overall now 0-5 with a 7.06 earned run average.
Uribe hung with an error on the throw, allowing Fowler to score and Bryant to reach third. No RBI for Chris. Base hit. Here comes another run. Bryant scores 4-0. Rizzo's driven in 2 tonight.
Playing Pepper with the center fielder.
Driven the other way. Markakis, though, will make the catch. So they're making a tough out. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 2 more in for the Cubs. They lead 4-0. Game, John Lester, the starter, retroactively found out he had a no-hitter, which was broken up eventually in the 8th inning. But 7 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, ERA down to 3.37.
Yeah, he's been on a very nice run for a good long while now, and outstanding here tonight was Mr. Lester. 7 punch-outs, 1 walk, just about everything down. He saw that 1 high fastball on the strikeout, throw-out, double play, but other than that, everything was down around the knees, on the corners.
So non-save spot for Jason Mott. That's all I got.
That's all you got on Jason Mott. 5 out of 5 in those save opportunities. He's also picked up 6 W's along the way.
First appearance in 11 days. Remember, he finished both games of the doubleheader sweep against the Cardinals on July 7th. Russell to Rizzo. And they get Maben. 1 out. Maben has grounded out all 4 times. The top 5 guys in the Braves order. Only 1 guy has reached tonight, and that was Markakis on the error in the first. Everybody else has been retired every time up.
John Lester made that run out of no-hitter here tonight. Wouldn't be surprised to see either of the starters in the ball game tomorrow do something dramatic as well. Arrieta and Miller. Look out. Yeah, so even though the save opportunity went away with the Cubs adding on those 2 runs, Jason Mott needed to get some work here.
The outside edge. 1-2. Cubs looking for their 48th win. Trying to maintain their lead in the second wild card spot race. Cardinals leading the Mets late 12-2 in the bottom of the 8th. The Giants pulling away from the Diamondbacks 7-2 in the top of the 6th. 3-2 pitch will pop up. Caught by Bryant. 2 outs.
Three groups of fans here right now. Okay. Big contingent of Cub fans on their feet cheering for the final out. Number of Brave fans up on their feet because they think they need to get up to try to make something happen. And a fair number of fans that are heading towards the exits trying to beat the traffic. That's the noisiest bunch right there, all that blue.
1 strike to Gomes. Here it is. 1-1. Gomes and Mott, they look like extras in Sons of Anarchy or something, don't they? Foul back. Hey, can you throw on a Harley Davidson jacket for us? Just kind of hang out for a bit. Sure, why not? Maybe we'll put some tattoos. Oh, you already have those? Okay. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And Jason will throw that bow tie on, and he looks more like an English professor.
His heart looks like a Cub. You can see right through his shirt. Payoff pitch, ball 4. Heart on his sleeve.
Boy, if that reaction was to that last pitch, he's really wearing that heart on his sleeve. That one wasn't particularly close.
Down Main Street to Chris Johnson.
Yeah, just have to recalibrate, find the strike zone. Got a 4-run lead. Johnson, aggressive hitter by nature, rarely walks, so he's, especially now that he's a part-time player too, trying to do damage because he doesn't play every day. Usually those guys are a little more willing to expand their zone.
Runner goes on the 0-2. Cubs don't particularly care, and I don't think the official score will either.
I'm guessing he'll be indifferent. So trying to get a little creative there, changing the arm angle, throw a cutter.
Shot foul as Terry Pendleton at first base. There's Terry Pendleton, former MVP winner.
1991.
91.
It's the beginning of that great Braves run.
The National League with a .319 batting average that year. Foul tip, I think it is. Yeah. Strike 3, Cubs win. Cubs win.
There you go.
That man is happy. A lot of Cub fans in the ballpark are happy tonight. A combined 2-hit shutout. They snap an 8-game losing streak in this ballpark. We'll be back in a moment.